Hello and welcome to Kickoff Conversations, Episode 7. My name is Ray.
And this is Jake, baby, week 7.
How we
Sorry, I
doing?
didn't know if you were going to introduce me or if I was going to say it.
No worries. How we doing?
Doing good. It
was a busy weekend.
We've had a busy week and weekend. We're shooting this episode on a Friday morning because our work lives are busy right now and we didn't have time to do this, but we are getting the episode in.
Yeah.
And
let's do this thing. I was at a baby shower in Nebraska all weekend. I was able to watch a good amount of things on Saturday for college, but I was not able to watch a lot of NFL. So it was kind of good because Coop watched a lot of NFL, right?
correct. Yeah, I typically do watch more NFL than college, but yeah, this week especially, definitely more NFL than college.
Good.
So.
Well, let's dive into the Chiefs, and I want to talk Hopkins early here. What's your feel on that?
So, Chiefs fans, you need to temper your expectations. This guy's 32 years old. He's not going to come in and go for 120 yards a game or anything like that. Now, the biggest part of the game that I think Hopkins helps the Chiefs is in the red zone. The Chiefs, within the last 3 to 4 years, are one of the bottom half NFL teams in red zone efficiency as far as scoring touchdowns. Big part of that, I think, is typically Andy Reid will scheme people open. It's harder to scheme people open when you have less space to do so, when you're tighter, you're closer to the end zone. So I think that's been a problem for the Chiefs in the last 3 to 4 years. They settle for a lot or they get really gimmicky and they try and run all these trick plays. Typically the reason you do that is because you have a hard time just beating the other team without scheme. So I think DeAndre Hopkins helps that, but I don't think in any way he's going to come in and just light the world up. I feel like he's probably going to play about 12 to 15 snaps on Sunday in Vegas against the Raiders. But I do think he's an overall upgrade. I still think that Hollywood Brown is going to be back late December. So I'm really excited for that. Everything that I've read and seen on his shoulder injury, everything's going well. And but my expectations for DeAndre Hopkins are, I think he improves our receiving core, obviously, but I don't expect him to be prime DeAndre Hopkins by any means.
Got it. Well, yeah, that was kind of interesting to me. I mean, I feel like they have a lot of wide receivers. He'll add some experience. But Juju's played well recently.
He's going to be out for a couple weeks. He pulled his hamstring. He had a hamstring injury that was kind of bothering him coming into the game. And in about the second drive, he pulled it again. And so I think they're going to probably hold him out. He's not playing this week for sure. So probably won't play next week either.
That's probably why they went and got somebody.
Yeah. And interesting enough, they also put Sky Moore on the IR due to an abdominal issue. I don't understand what the Chiefs are doing with him. I don't think he's actually hurt. The Chiefs are known to do this. They'll kind of come up with an injury and just have someone go to the IR. When you go to the IR in the NFL, you're out for at least 4 weeks. So I don't know what's he didn't miss any of the snaps last week. He didn't get hurt. So unless he just played through it, I have no idea what's going on with him.
He's not their guy.
I just think it's weird.
Do you think that they're going to
get rid of him? They did the same thing last year. Yeah, probably. They'll cut him and he'll go to the practice squad or I don't know. But yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, exciting move. If anything, he can teach some stuff to Xavier Worthy. So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, last week, like you said, 28-18 win over the 49ers.
Stop disrespecting our Chiefs. Okay, Vegas.
And me. I mean, the Mahomes, wow.
Let's address Mahomes.
2 interceptions, 154 yards, still win by 10 against a pretty good team. Although they're 3-4 this year, they're struggling a little bit. That's a surprise to me.
So I've been having a lot of people send me stuff about Patrick Mahomes. You got to remember, last year during this time, there were people out there, specifically in the national media, saying that he was broken. About 3 to 4 weeks after people said he was broken, they didn't lose a game throughout the rest of the year, including the playoffs, obviously the Super Bowl. The same thing's happening this year. About 50 to 65% of his interceptions are what I would consider fluky or just unlucky plays. For example, two of his picks this weekend, one of them was batted up in the air by a defensive lineman and intercepted. The second one, his receiver completely fell down coming out of his break. Is he playing the best? No. I'm not saying that at all, but I am in no way, shape, or form worried about him at all. There was some dude on CBS that said he was the 12th best quarterback in the league. She's like, brother, what are you talking about? He's still making big plays when it matters, whether that's running the ball. He had some really big runs.
Saw those all over Twitter. Yeah.
He
X.
The other thing that people have to realize is when teams play the Chiefs now, it is their Super Bowl. It's the biggest game on the schedule. Kansas City has now won 13 straight games. They haven't lost since last December to the Raiders, which we play this weekend. So I'm not worried about Pat at all. If you look at our offensive numbers through the first 6 games that we played this year compared to last year, we're scoring 7 more points per game. All of Pat's numbers, like passing yards wise, are up. His picks are up, but also we're running the ball better. Our offense as a whole is being way more efficient. This last week in San Francisco, we scored 28 points, and that was the most we've scored all year. So we're starting to uptick a little bit, and I think our offense will continue to get better as the season goes. So all those people who are worried about Patrick Mahomes, what's he doing? Why is he playing so bad? He is the absolute hunted. He has the target on his back or on his chest every time he walks on a field. That's what happens when you're the best. You're not going to get teams sleepwalking when they're playing the Chiefs. They know they're on national TV. They got their girlfriend and their agent
Taylor
in the
Swift's
stands.
there.
Yeah, it's you're getting to see Patrick Mahomes. So it's a big deal.
How about Kareem Hunt? I mean, he's come in. He's been productive.
Yeah, Kareem's really surprised me. I thought he was going to do well. I thought he was going to. I just didn't think he was going to do this well, and I didn't think we were going to give him this many carries early. The thing I'm really excited for is Pacheco and him to be a 1-2 combo late in the year and into the playoffs. I think Pacheco is gonna be back early December. So I'm really excited to see those two together. And yeah, I've been really impressed with him. Also, McCole Hardman, big game last week. He always plays well against San Francisco. Last 3 games he's played against San Francisco, 3 touchdowns. So he's been doing well. We have San Francisco's number. It's official. They haven't beaten us since 2014.
That's crazy.
Debo and George Kittle, like I said, have never beaten the Chiefs. I said that going into last week. Remains the same. If you guys don't know, that was my lock of the week. So they were underdogs. I just picked them to win, and they did so. So my NFL picks are up to 6-2.
Fire. Awesome.
So
this week, Kansas City takes on the Raiders on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I always look forward to this one because I like Crosby a little bit. He's a little bit feisty, and he always
I like
tries
Crosby too.
He
even
tries
though
to
I
get
didn't-
under Mahomes' skin, and he's a little bit of a, I don't know. He's just an asshole, I guess. But I like him a lot. I think that although they've never really had a whole lot of success against him, am I wrong on that?
They beat the Raiders are
Late
the
last
last
year?
team to beat the Chiefs
Late last year.
in December on
'Cause
Christmas
we went to
Day.
the home game last year, and we beat them, right?
Yeah, they beat us on Christmas Day last year.
That's right.
Ruined my Christmas.
At the Raiders.
I can't remember.
Yeah, that was on the road. That was
Yeah.
on the road. Yeah, he's kind of the villain for the Chiefs. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, the Raiders are completely depleted.
Yeah.
They're almost in like tanking mode. I mean, they obviously just traded Devontae Adams. The one thing about the Raiders that I actually respect is that Antonio Pierce, their head coach, has them playing extremely hard. They're not rolling over for anyone. They're kind of just going in and week out and playing their tail off. Now they're not really skilled really anywhere on offense, especially without them having Devontae Adams. Brock Bowers is pretty skilled, but he's getting force fed the ball because there's absolutely no one else to get the ball to, and Brock Bowers is doing well. It's funny. I always like when the Chiefs go and play in Vegas, or I like to see it on TV anyway, because the Chiefs travel pretty well anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But Chiefs fans going to Vegas, it's kind of a reason for them to, make a little vacation out of it, and they always travel super well there. And I like hearing the national anthem, home of the Chiefs, and it always really pisses Max Crosby off. He's been like on podcasts talking about how it really pisses him off when Chiefs fans do that, and so I just think it's funny. But I do really respect Max Crosby. He's he's that guy on the other team that you always hate, but you respect him because he plays hard. He's chippy. You see the video of him the other week playing against Denver, talking to Bo Nix.
He's telling Bo they can't hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just very raw, but man, that guy leads the NFL in percentage of defensive snaps played. He didn't come off the field. He's a small school Eastern Michigan guy. I like him. But do you want to go through what you think about the game? What you're predicting for Chiefs Raiders?
Yeah, I've been trying to zag on the Chiefs. I feel like in the times that I've been really paying attention to the NFL since I've been in Kansas City, you always go in. It's not like college where you expect them to win every game, and it's hard to win every game in the NFL. So that's why I zagged last week, because they were a good opponent. I can't do that this week. Like you said, they're limited on offense, don't have many weapons, and Crosby. He said something on a press conference the other day or something like that. He was like, "I'm just not in it to lose." But it kind of seems like that's the mindset of everybody, although they're trying. But I can't bet against the Chiefs right now. Like you said, Mahomes isn't even playing his best. He's still making the plays he needs to make. But once he figures it out, this thing ain't going to be close. I don't know about the points, again, because it's an NFL game.
Yeah.
But it's also a
10-point
big money
favorites
line.
currently. Yeah, I wouldn't. Chiefs typically don't blow people out, so I don't.
I don't know if I can take the points, and I think maybe I wouldn't say it's a trap game, but maybe it kind of is from the line perspective. You would want to think that they could blow them out, and maybe Mahomes figures it out. I don't know. That's a big ask for me here. I would say money line, but I'm also not going to. I wouldn't actually do that. I'll just say Chiefs by the points. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just say, give me the 9.
So this game, here's what I'm looking for in this game. Okay. There's been a lot of national noise. Pat's starting to hear the noise. I'm just looking for a no turnover game from Patrick Mahomes. No picks. That's what I would love to see out of him to really shut the media up. The Raiders defense is not very good. They're giving up 26 points a game. They're 29th in the league in points allowed. They're not very good against the run. I think we're going to run the ball a decent amount. But I do think we're going to try to get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins a couple times to kind of get his feet wet in Kansas City. Travis historically kills the Raiders as well, so I look for Travis to have a pretty big game. I don't really care if they cover the spread or not. I just want them to win. And what I am looking for and what I'm predicting is a no turnover game from Patrick Mahomes. Kind of shut some people up. I'm curious about a topic I want to ask you, actually. I didn't really tell you I was going to ask you this, but I'm going to do it anyway. MVP conversations are starting to pop up. To me, in the NFL, I don't typically start looking or talking about the MVP until Thanksgiving because there's so much football still to be played, and those are the meaningful games after Thanksgiving. But if Patrick is on the same trajectory he is on, he doesn't have a crazy statistical year. You know, he keeps throwing these random interceptions, but the Chiefs go 17-0. They don't lose a game in the regular season. Do you think he wins the MVP?
Absolutely. And I don't even if you say everything how that's just gone, you know, he still struggles with stats and they go 17-0. Absolutely, I think he's the MVP winner because everything that they face, injuries, Kelsey's getting older, struggles, but they're winning. And when was the last time we had an undefeated season?
The Dolphins in the 70s or 80s or one of
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Yes.
To me,
I
think I agree with you. I think it's a no-brainer. LaShawn McCoy, you know, a national
Said no.
talking head. Yeah, he said no.
Well, that little group that he's on,
I can't stand that show.
They're never going to hear us, but it's Chase Daniel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are.
Daniel actually said he should win it because winning's the most important
Okay.
thing. But some of the other people were like, you know, his statistics are, you know, horrible, especially with the year Lamar Jackson's having. I'm just like, dude, he beat him head to head.
Yeah.
People forget that, and they get so caught up with these numbers that people are putting up. Yeah, numbers mean a little bit, but if someone does something that hasn't been done in 30 or 40 years and runs
It's
the table,
easy. Yeah.
and they're back-to-back Super Bowl champions, to me that's a no-brainer. So let us know what you think. If the Chiefs run the table and Patrick has a lackluster statistical year, to you, does that mean that he should be the MVP favorite or no? So let us know what you think about that. Right now, Lamar's the betting favorite for the MVP. He's doing some crazy things. He's playing well. He's a really good quarterback in October, folks. Really good October quarterback. So, should I do my lock of the week?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if we would have recorded this earlier, my lock was going to be the Rams. They had Puka and Cooper Kupp back. I'm late on that. It would have hit, but didn't record it, so I can't say that was my lock now. My lock of the week is going to be Atlanta over Tampa Bay. Atlanta currently is favored by 2.5 points. Tampa Bay is depleted in the receiver room. They throw the ball more than any team in the NFL currently this year with Baker Mayfield. He's going to be without Chris Godwin. He's going to be without Mike Evans. It's a divisional game. Currently, Atlanta is only favored by 2.5. Now, Tampa Bay did get 41 points put on them last week. Chris Godwin, that injury is going to really, really hurt them. He got hurt, I think, in the last 20 seconds of the game, which is really unfortunate. But I just think Atlanta comes out. It's in Tampa, and I think Atlanta is going to come out and continue to. I think this is a statement game for their division as well. Bijan Robinson, I think it's a big game for him, and I think they cover the 2.5 point spread and win by 3. So that'll be my lock. If you want to make some money, go ahead and take it. I'm 6-2 on the year, and yeah, that's my pick.
Mark it, book it, put it in your app, make some money. All right. College, I watched a lot of it. I know you didn't watch much. I tried to fill you a little bit in on the Nebraska game, but let's start there. Got Ohio State this week.
Is the score misleading? Was the score misleading? I followed the stats. I saw the score, but I didn't watch any of the games. So tell me what happened.
Let me talk about it a little bit. So going into the game, obviously, I picked Nebraska 34-24. It was way lopsided, way off. Big noon. We come out in the all whites. It's never gone well for Nebraska, but I'm not very, I'm not
Those
really
considered
superstitious.
your guys' alt jerseys or?
Huh?
Those-
Alternate, yeah. We never do stuff like that. We did it for Big Noon and got destroyed. Now, here's the thing. Kurt Signetti, I was very, very, very impressed with them.
That's Indiana's
offensively.
head coach, for those who might not know.
He's
You
just-
will soon know.
He's got a little bit of moxie. Google him. He wins. I kind of really like the guy, and I liked him before leading up to the game last week. On Wednesday, I got a little bit of an itch. I started watching their film. I went through all their games, and Urban Meyer said it best to me. He said, when he watches film, typically you get to the game or a big game on a Saturday, and they don't look like anything they do on film. Well, you got there, 11 a.m. Saturday. They did everything that I talked about last week on the pod. They were killing us in one-on-one, back shoulder throws. They were RPOing it all over the field. They could run it down our throat. It wasn't even a question. Their offensive line must be really, 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 really good. And I think their scheme is really good as well. I think Kirk calls the plays as he kind of runs the whole offense, from what I understand. They're leading the country 48 points a game. And what happened during the game, why the score got so bad was, well, Rule didn't really want to just roll over and die and just run the clock out in the second half. And he said it in his press conferences. He wanted to compete. So he put Dylan in some situations, and he let the offensive coordinator call some plays, and they got a little risky, threw a couple picks, which led to easy touchdowns. And like I said, Kurt's got some moxie. He was going to run the score up. And you can't blame him. He's trying to make a statement. After the game, I went back to the Big 12, I went back to when he accepted the job, and I went all the way through to present time. I listened to every press conference that he had, just because I was curious. He has called everything up to this point.
I wonder, is he recruiting very well?
Okay, but in his press conferences, he says he doesn't go for stars, which is true. His guys are all like 3. There's a 4-star quarterback in his class.
I wonder
they're
if he's
all 3
going to
stars.
hit some players in the portal.
Yeah, he said he is. Yeah. Which I didn't know going into the game, which I should have thought more about. He's got like 15 guys from James Madison that he brought.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Their quarterback got hurt, I think, against you guys, didn't he?
He did. He
Or his
like
hand or
cut his thumb or something. But he didn't play the whole second half. They still scored 28 on our defense in the second half.
So are Nebraska fans in panic?
Yeah, burning it down. Want to fire the offensive coordinator.
Are people starting to bail on Raiola? Are they
No,
still all in
no.
on? I mean,
Everybody's
3 picks last week. Are they blaming? Who are they blaming here?
They're blaming the offensive coordinator for sure. A little bit pissy with Rule. And we've had, the extreme just dummies want to fire the defensive coordinator as well, but he's been very good. He hasn't I think that he hasn't led over 300 or 400 yards rushing in a game, or 200 yards rushing or 100 yards rushing in a game for the last 13 games. Obviously, they had well over 200 or 300 last week, so that's squashed. But grand scheme of things, yes, Nebraska is burning down. People are freaking out. My call is just calm down. We're 5-2. We've been in many worse situations the last 7 or 8 years. I do think the offensive coordinator needs to go, and my pick for that would be Boise State offensive coordinator.
Maybe Kotelnicki.
We don't. He's gonna stay where he's at, but
He's going
I'd
to be
love
head
that.
coach soon.
I'd love that. But yeah, this week Ohio State, another top 10 offense, very good, talent all over the field, way more talent than Indiana's got on the books, way more money
You
on the
said
field.
an interesting stat to me last week, or I don't remember when you told me this, but it's interesting to me that every team Nebraska plays in the next 3 or 4 weeks is coming off of a bye,
Off of a bye,
which is
which
not
is
a good thing.
weird.
Typically, teams coming off a bye are well prepared and pretty efficient. So
Started with Indiana, then Ohio State, UCLA, and then USC, and we're at USC. So they got to buy in there at home, and we got to go there.
which they've been kind of stumbling. USC, they just lost to Maryland somehow.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. I think that we come out against Ohio State, we're going to get stomped.
What do you think about the spread? Currently 25
I think
and a
that's
half.
pretty fair. I think it's pretty fair.
I saw something that said every Ohio State has won either 4 or 5 games this year, and every game they've won by at least 28 points.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Obviously, they lost to Oregon.
I think it's pretty fair. I think we come out, we get stopped, we fire the offensive coordinator. We have somebody within call the plays, and then we're looking for somebody new, probably handpicked maybe by even Dylan Raiola. I don't know. Because my thing is, I'm a little worried about him just, piecing, just saying, hey, this was a great experience and I'm out.
Headed to Georgia.
I don't even know where he'd go. Maybe
Come a little south down to
he
Kansas.
might go to Ohio State. I don't even want to think about that. But at the end of the day, well, no, they got some other freshmen there. But at the end of the day, we're going to be all right. Even after this week, if we are 5-3, I like our back half. I picked us to go 8-4. I'm standing on that. I think we'll get there, bowl eligible for the first time in 7 or 8 years. But these 2 weeks have been tough and will be incredibly tough on Saturday or tomorrow. Another big noon kickoff. We're front and center again. Not game day, but we're front and center again, and it just sucks for us. It's bad timing. We've done something wrong with the football
gods. Could be
gods.
a little bit of a trap game for Ohio State. Next week's their big game.
I hope.
They're playing Penn State at Penn State next week. So
I
maybe
hope.
they're looking ahead.
Well, they're coming off of a bye, so
I know.
and they just got beat by Oregon 2 weeks ago. So,
if there's any coach that's going to screw this up, it's going to be Ryan Day.
well,
This isn't a big game, though. He's good in non-big games, but when it comes to the big game, he'll find a way to either mismanage the clock or, do something stupid.
Well, I'd probably take Ohio State or minus 24, whatever it is, and live to fight another day for the back half of the season for Nebraska. So,
Okay. Well, let's talk about Mizzou last week. Everyone thinks that all these Mizzou fans think Brady Cook is Jesus. For some reason, they took him to the hospital for a rolled ankle, and then he comes back from the hospital. I will give it to him. That drive at the end of the game did win them the game, but those who are freaking out because he went to the hospital. Have you ever rolled your ankle? The answer is probably yes. Did you go to the hospital for it? No. Also, if you've never been at Mizzou on their campus or anything, the hospital is across the street from the stadium. So people acting like he drove an hour, went there, and then came back. He could have probably ran there, but everyone has these pictures of him in the ambulance going 10 feet across the street. Whatever. Mizzou fans just drive me freaking nuts, acting like Brady Cook is back, Also, you were playing a 2-4 at the time, now 2-5 Auburn team. It's not like you were playing Alabama. You're going to have a real test this week at Alabama. Now, Alabama's not the same. They're scuffling. But, man, I hope they kick Mizzou's teeth in this weekend.
yeah.
Sorry, I went on a little bit of a ramble.
No. You're pressing buttons. You're trying to get people fired up. That was interesting. I picked him as the lock of the week. Depending on when you got the line, it was. I'm going to take that for everybody out
3.5.
there.
The line was 3.5. They won by 4. So that's a
I think
win.
it was by Saturday. I'll take it. 3-4. So we're getting back. We're starting to make some money 2 or 3 weeks in a row now. But that was interesting. I've been telling everybody this. They're a 15, top 20 to 40 team. They're not what you think they are. They haven't ever proven that to me. They've always been overrated. Now Brady,
They won and fell in the rankings. That's very rare.
yeah, because it's
They
how they
fell
play.
to 21.
Brady Cook, props to him. I'm not gonna shit on him like you are. I think he did. He did a good thing. He showed some grit.
This
He
guy's
went
going to have a scrape on his elbow, and we're going to take him to the emergency room.
Whatever. I think he's fine. He's all right. Now, I did listen to Joel Klatt. He made a good point. If it's really a sprained ankle, a really bad one, not just a rolled ankle like you say, it hurts a lot worse. You can usually get through the game. You're playing on that adrenaline, especially in that atmosphere. It's the next week. I wonder how much he was on it this week. What did he do? Blah, 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 blah. If he can come out and play effectively on Saturday, or if he can't, Mizzou fans better be praying to God and saying their Hail Marys, because I heard all about it from Mizzou fans. Drew Pine was horrible.
Yeah, he was. I
So-
actually watched most of their game, and
Oh,
yeah,
you
he
did?
looked bad.
Okay. Well,
And
I
it's
think.
funny that he looked that bad because a lot of Mizzou fans were getting kind of cranky with Brady Cook
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple weeks prior. You know, let's see what Pine looks like. You know, put him
Oh, yeah.
in. He looked horrible. So Mizzou fans, you know, if you still want him, keep calling for his job. He'll get in there. You're probably going to see him this week at Bama because you guys are going to get being beat by about 40 at one point.
Well, here's the thing. Alabama, 5-2, like you said, dropped to. This is their lowest rating in a long time at 15. Very low. They haven't been this low since 2010,
Which was Saban's first year.
as second or third.
Oh, one of the
After
two.
they
Early.
lost to Auburn in 2010, they went down to this.
Early in Saban's era.
Now, if Mizzou could win, this would be consecutive, since 2006, 2007, and 68 and 69. This would be the third time they've gone 7-1 in consecutive years. So to start it off, that'd be
They're
interesting.
17-point underdogs. They're not going to win.
Well, hey, it's a big game. This is a season.
Hey, this is a Brady Cook
This is
big
an
game.
implication game right here.
This
Yes,
is a big
this is
game
it.
for Brady Cook. Now, his ankle's bummed. That's part of football. Patrick Mahomes goes and does this in the NFL with a bummed ankle. The guy can't walk, and he's beating NFL teams. This is a down Alabama team.
On the road. Yikes.
Do you think they're going to cover?
Absolutely
what do you
not.
think is going to happen
Absolutely
with this game?
not. Crimson Tide's going to just.
I think
Destroy 'em.
Alabama's probably a little bit pissed off over these last 2 weeks. I think Jalen
yeah.
Milroe is going to be a little upset. So yeah, I would not want to be.
DeBoer's got the fans on his butt.
Yeah, I think they might come out and just run the score up on them.
They have to.
Yeah, I mean this
For
is
playoff implications, they have to win, and they have to win big. They have to be dominant. So I think that they destroy them by maybe more than 25.
This is also a tune-up game for their big game next week. Alabama plays at LSU. Big game for recruiting, big game for playoff implications on both sides. LSU's playing A&M this week. They're 1-point underdogs.
Yeah, they're going to destroy them.
All right, let's talk about another game we spent a decent amount of time on last week. Texas, Georgia. I couldn't have been more wrong. Man, they got their tails kicked. 23.
Did you pick Texas? I thought you picked
Yeah.
Georgia.
No, I picked Texas.
Oh, I picked
I think
Texas. I
Texas
know I
Texas has been my pick to win the national title. And
Oh.
man, they were down 23-0 at one point and just
Yeah. Ewers looked like a deer in headlights.
I don't really know why Sarkisian pulled him at one point and then put him back in.
He had I think he threw 2 picks or he fumbled the ball. Yeah, he
I
had
know,
one.
but I'm just saying historically platooning quarterbacks doesn't work.
Yeah.
Name the last time a platooning quarterback team was actually worth anything.
Yeah. I mean, talk about a deer in headlights. I mean, I don't want to go back to it, but
That really hurt his draft stock though.
he looked bad. He looked scared a little bit to me. The defense was on his tail. That's probably what Brady Cook's going to look like this weekend. But yeah, that was interesting. What do you think about the call?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, you don't?
No.
There's a defensive pass interference call on Texas. I think they got an interception. They may have returned it for a touchdown, or it was really close in the red zone. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a return for a touchdown. It was they got the ball back. It was a big point of the game. Actually, I'm sorry for everybody. There was a offensive pass interference called on Georgia, I believe. No, I've messed this whole thing up. There was a defensive pass interference called on Texas. They got an interception. They got the ball into the red zone. Big point of the game, third or fourth quarter. And they called that DPI, and so it was going to remain Georgia's ball. Well, Sarkisian was freaking out. The call was honestly a bad call. There was like a delay in the game. The fans start throwing beer bottles, water, whatever it was, onto the field. Freaking out, delaying the referees, and they have a discussion. They overturn the call, and they give the ball to Texas, which was probably the right call. But it took them 5 minutes to do that, and Kirby Smart went crazy on the sideline. I think they even came out since then and, obviously said it was the right call, but you shouldn't have done that. And the point that Kirby made was you're setting the precedent. Oh, if there's a bad call, just throw stuff on the field, let them think about it, be really upset, and we'll overturn it for the home team. And that's what happened.
you got to stick with the call,
So,
especially if it's non-reviewable.
yeah, sorry for everybody. I really messed that up for a second, but that's what happened. And
Let's
Kirby
talk
was
about this
hilarious.
Georgia team. Are you? There's parts of this game that I did see that Carson Beck is having a really bad year. That's the only way to put it.
3 picks.
He's having a bad year. When I look at the numbers, I mean, I just don't think this Georgia team can win a national title. I don't think their offense is good enough, and I don't think their defense is as good as it's been in the past. Still think it's good, but it's not dominant good. Georgia only had 14 first downs. I don't know. I really do like Kirby. Jared, who we had on last week, loves Kirby, and he still thinks Georgia's, basically a running king in college football. I just don't see it. I just don't think their offense is good enough to. And it's going to be interesting this year because you're going to have an actual playoff run, win multiple games. So I don't know. Do you think Georgia's a legit national title?
No, I don't. I think that, they're going to beat up on that first round, second round game, whoever they get, just because
They might have a bye because they might win the SEC.
Yeah, they're going to beat up on them, but they're going to run back into, whether it's Tennessee or they're going to get to maybe Texas again. And I think Texas will look a little bit better the second time around. It's hard to beat somebody twice, especially of that caliber. But hey, there's my team, Oregon. Oregon's kind of complete. They're
had their
kind
of like Lamar. They're the college Lamar Jackson.
Oh, God.
They look really really good in October and November, but then when they get into a big game, a big spot late in the year for a big bowl game, or maybe it was Pac-12 title implications, they just.
Well, here's the thing. They got Illinois this week, top 20 matchup. They got them at home, on the road at Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, Washington. Pretty easy road. Michigan's obviously, they're a man down. They look a little bit like their hands tied behind their back half the time. But I don't think they're going to struggle. I think that they're going to be undefeated, number one going in to the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might too. I think they'll actually lose in the Big Ten title
would you
game.
look at that? I
think
called this, man.
No, you called them winning the national title.
I said they're going to be in the national title game is all I said, and you
I think they're
freaked
going to
out.
lose in the Big Ten title game.
Okay.
If they meet Ohio State again. I think they're going to lose that game because it'll basically be an Ohio State home game with the game. I think the game's in Indianapolis. Isn't that where the Big Ten title game always is? Yeah. But hey, I'm done talking about Oregon.
Okay.
I can't take it anymore. Let's go to we got a rivalry game this week in the Big 12. We got K-State in Manhattan Saturday night under the lights.
KU, they destroyed Houston, which was kind of, expected. Hopefully they didn't struggle with them. What'd you think?
This is the Kansas team I was expecting. I typically don't like PFF. I don't really think it means a whole lot. But JD6, Kansas quarterback, was the highest rated PFF quarterback of last week. Yeah, no, I mean I'm glad they won. It's just discouraging that they're still 2-5, whatever. The thing that would absolutely turn this year around is if they went into Manhattan and ruined K-State's season. If you look at all the statistics, both offensively and defensively, comparing K-State and KU, it's interesting that one team is a top 16, they're ranked 16th in the country, K-State is, and the other team on the other side of the field is 2-5.
Mm-hmm.
Every statistic, they're pretty dang close, neck and neck. Kansas is actually better in a lot of categories. Third down efficiency, time of possession, they're way better against the pass. K-State's way better against the run, and they're only scoring 2 points less per game, and yet K-State's still 6-1, Kansas 2-5. So currently 10-point spread. I love us coming in as underdogs. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think it's going to be tight late. I think it's going to be actually decently high scoring. I do think K-State will still find a way to win. I think that's kind of how their program is they're good late in games. They've kind of been in some tight games, but I think that KU will cover the spread. I think they lose by 3. But man, if there was ever a time for Lance to get people back on his train, it would be beating his in-state rival.
Yeah.
This game's going to be on ESPN, I believe. National. This could be big for recruiting. I'm going to pick the Kansas Jayhawks.
Oh, wow.
Here. I think
Okay.
they're going to win by 3 points. They're going to cover the spread, and part of me is picking them because it's a rivalry
Kind of a
game.
must.
But regardless, I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think KU is going to get blown out by any means. What are your thoughts?
This is interesting to me. I think K-State's going to kind of view them as the little brother this week. They're not going to really think about them too much. They're 2-5. They've really struggled. I don't think they're going to – I think they may overlook them. But I don't know if I'm –
They play Houston next week, so there's not really anything to look forward to. But if in K-State's – if they lose this game, their playoff implications are
good point.
gone. So
Point.
they need to win this game.
I think they're going to struggle in the first half. I think they win in the second half.
Who's they?
K-State.
Okay, I didn't know.
I
if you were
think
talking
they're
about
gonna.
Jayhawks.
They're not gonna cover. I don't think it'll be 3, but I think it'll be a touchdown or more.
their
It
field's a
might
tough-
be 10. It might push. I
They
don't
have
know.
a tough place to play. It's kind of unique place. So
K-State. Okay, I got K-State. You got Kansas. We both have Alabama, Ohio State. I assume you have Ohio State as well. Any big games that we want to talk about? I do want to talk about Oregon. We didn't.
we want to talk about LSU, A&M.
I'll let you talk about them real quick. I do want to go back to Oregon, just real quick, okay? They come off of a big win against Ohio State at home. Friday night game in Purdue. That could be a trap game.
Purdue stinks.
Well, it could be a trap game. Purdue is they were 4-1 or 3-2 in their last 5 games at home against top 5 teams. Obviously, it didn't happen. That's my point. Dan Lanning's a different cat. You say that Oregon, historically is this and that. Dan Lanning's got them up and running I don't want to say an SEC team, but he's got them up and running like a true power. I don't think they're going to fade. And 35-0 on a Friday night, they're playing really well. If anybody hasn't watched their YouTube channel, go back, watch Dan Lanning, just get the boys ready for that big game against Ohio State. I sent it to Cooper. He says he hates the guy. I don't know how.
I don't hate the guy. I just think he's over the top.
He got them ready for that moment, and that's why you saw that big outburst at the end of the game that Cooper didn't like. But that dude's legit. Love it that he's a Kansas City guy as well. And I think they take care of business at home. Well, I don't know about 22 points against Illinois, but they're going to win, and I think they're going to win out, and they're going to fulfill my prophecy of them being in the title game. Love
Okay, let's really quick. I want to go over LSU A&M.
I hate watching both of these teams.
I can't stand LSU.
I hate them.
Currently, A&M. This game is at Texas A&M, and it's at night, so that place is going to be rocking. Mizzou fans found that out really quick, and that was a day game too. Taking all these jabs at Mizzou fans today, but I don't. I just don't think that. What's LSU's quarterback's name?
Nussmeier.
I don't think he's as good as people think. A&M's currently favored. LSU has these 2 weeks are huge for LSU because they play Bama next week. I think that LSU is going to lose. I think A&M is going to beat them, and then I think LSU is also going to lose next week, and I think their season will be over. I don't like Kelly at LSU. Don't like him either.
Don't like him. Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think? I don't even know. Currently, A&M's favored by 1. I think it'll be a tight game, but I just don't like LSU. LSU should have lost last week too, but they didn't. Whatever.
Yeah. I personally hate LSU. They're really annoying to watch. Like I know you like watching Ole Miss. I don't really like watching them. I went and just looked back roughly real quick. They're 6-1. They lost to USC, who's 3-4 right now, at the beginning of the season. And they've got somewhat of a not too difficult back half, but Texas A&M, Alabama, like you said. They've got Vanderbilt. Oklahoma's Florida's okay. They'll be fine, but I hate watching LSU. I think that they're going to lose. I don't know what they've done to be proven to be a top 10 team right now. They beat Ole Miss by 3, but Ole Miss
It's because they won 6 straight.
is no good. You've also seen not no good, but they're not a top 10 team either. Like I said already, they lost to USC, who's not even ranked in 3 and 4. They're not that good. This is my problem. Why are the polls so just heavy judged on the SEC? I get it. They're good. They're great. But, man, we just give these teams like Mizzou, like Ole Miss, like LSU, all these just the spotlight to be a top 10 team when I don't think that they deserve it. But at the same time, too, I mean, does BYU deserve to be a top 10 team? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're getting it. I'm with you, though. I think they're going to lose this weekend, and they're going to struggle this back half. Vanderbilt, hopefully. I'm pulling for Vandy. I hope Vanderbilt wins all these big games they play. My lock?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I went off there. Okay. Getting some steam here. Sorry, I had it picked, and then here it is. This is an interesting game. Maybe we can talk about it. I'm going to take as my lock of the week Navy plus 13.5 at home against Notre Dame. Never trailed
Mine
once.
says 14.
14.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking them just to win. Money line them. Or you can take them by the points. Whatever you want to do.
4th best scoring offense in the country, Navy.
Never trailed. The only other team to have not trailed this season is Indiana. So those are the 2 teams remaining.
Notre Dame's defense is good.
I think they will trail, but they are running the ball quite well all over everybody. Notre Dame, we've seen them struggle. They've got to win. Otherwise, they're going to get real questionable. Also, they're top 12.
No, if they lose, they're out. They're not making the playoffs. If they lose to
Navy?
Navy.
Yeah, they got to win.
Yeah.
They got to win.
If they lose another game the rest of the year, they're out.
Yeah, they got to win. I think that that Navy takes them down at home, and I sail off on the sunset 3-0 the last 3 weeks, and we're cooking. So that's my lock of the week.
Let me give my college lock of the week really quick. There's one game that I just think is easy money. That's BYU over UCF. UCF is favored.
Interesting.
By 2.5. BYU is 7-0 and the number 11 team in the country. BYU is 3-4. I'm going to be honest. I don't understand this. It looks like just easy money to me. So take it for what you want. Ray's the college expert here on the NFL guy.
No, I think that's kind of.
But yeah, I don't know. And their quarterback's healthy too. So I don't understand that.
Very interesting. Thank you for
Another week down.
joining us. Like, subscribe,
Share
comment.
this with your friends, please, and let us know. The big question I want to know is if Chiefs were on the table. Let us know if you think that's and Pat has a bad year statistically. Let us know if you think he should win the MVP or if he should not.
Drop it in the comments. Have a great week.
See ya.